to Everybody Hates Black Men. I'm your host, Edward Anderson. I'll show my face today. I always like to do that every once in a while just to let y'all know, because you got mofos that like to, I don't know why people like to play in my chat, my video, but people love to play. You don't show your face, all that. But yeah, we're gonna talk Shedeur Sanders. We're gonna talk and I'm only gonna be talking for like 30 minutes, a hard 30 minutes. So we're talking Shedeur Sanders. We're talking Shannon Sharpe again. Somebody said, asked me, and I do need to really start titling these videos. So yes, that's a legit criticism, which is why I don't trip when y'all say that. But all right, so hold on, let me get this stuff going. See, every time I do real far back, yeah. So I don't even want to be over here dealing with that bullshit. So anyway, we're talking. So let me jump in on Shedeur Sanders. First of all, let me say this. So I watched the video from the dumper, that dude that I've been sharing, and I gotta tell you, he's probably the title with the 304. Why you shouldn't trick. You know how most of these fools will sit here and do a video like that. They'll get on a whole bunch of, basically man shaming and, game is this and game is that. But I said, you know what, this dude has really said one thing I really disagree with. Let me look at the title. Let me actually watch the video and see what he's got to say. And then, we'll do this SWP style. So if there's something I don't like, I'll speak on that. I got to tell you, this dude probably has the most definitive case against really tricking that anybody has ever produced. So any of you niggas that are anti-tricking and you don't believe in tricking for whatever reason, just do yourself a favor. Don't try to explain this stuff yourself, because pretty much most of you dudes, all y'all know how to do is like try to shame men because game is God, game is religion, and all of that. And I can tell you, this dude did not only not do that, he actually laid a very, very strong case. I would say any dudes that believe in tricking, you should watch this video. I don't care how much of a zealot, I don't care what your situation, I don't care. Any of y'all that really believe in tricking on that side, whether you want to be public about it, not public about it, any of y'all that does the passport bro thing, I would go out of my way and say this is required viewing. I would go out of my way of saying that, especially y'all fools, that y'all always want to air dudes against that. Even if you're game dudes, like, this is a good lesson in how do you actually explain stuff. This dude did, this is I don't want to really say 5 mic because it's already room, but this is a 4 mic video. This is like required viewing. And yeah, I know it sounds like I'm glazing, but he does a very good job explaining these things in a way that dudes, if you're not resonating with it, you're hating. It's not even about resonating on it, it's about facts. Now, do I agree with everything? No, I don't agree with when he says the black manosphere is dead and stuff like that, but he don't be saying that out of anger. This is like his assessment based on what he knows, and he's listening to space for a while, whatever. But that's not what this video is about. So I share that. I shared that. If y'all in my Discord, yeah, don't worry about the title. It's a great video. I will argue it's required viewing. Why? Because what he does in the beginning of the video is, in like the first 10-15 minutes, is he doesn't really, the video is about the Shannon Sharpe situation a little bit, but that's more of a backdrop. That's a backdrop. That's not even something he really discusses. It's just a backdrop. And tricking is really more of a backdrop. What he does in the first 15 minutes is give you a crash course in a female nature. This pairs very well with the video in which he showed a woman talking about how she thinks women are evil, like based on her actually thinking about it and like thinking about stuff she knows. That woman actually mentions paternity fraud. That's not in this video, but I'll share it. If you all see me sharing one person, especially somebody that I don't know or I haven't communicated with, if you see me sharing somebody like more than a few times, there is a reason I'm sharing this person. Because I'm sharing this person not only because I watch the videos But because I don't know this dude ain't asked me, I ain't had no interaction. The only thing he's hearted one of my comments. I'm not even in his comment section like that. But it's because for my audience and what I'm trying to communicate, what he does is, I think, either as effective, if not a little bit more effective. Because, you know, I like to do my rants, I like to go in, but he actually does the actual, for people that, you know, for dudes that they need to hear it in a certain way and they need it really laid out, you know, he does a very, very good job at doing that, which is the reason why I share his videos. And I don't share, and pretty much every video I've shared, I've listened to myself. So it's not like I'm just sharing them to be sharing them. You know, I've listened to every video, so I just want to say that because I'm telling you, that's a good video. And there's a couple of videos he does is good, but that one, because that's one that a lot of dudes get wrong, and they get into the alpha this, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't do that. He really lays out, this is what female, and he does it in a very brick by brick way. And then he uses that and combines that with, okay, when it comes to you doing this, you doing that. And yes, he acknowledges marriage. He acknowledges, you know, marriage. He acknowledges you can get troubled in marriage and all the other ways you get in trouble. So he doesn't do, well, don't trick, just do this. No, he addresses all of that. And what it comes down to is there is no one size solution. Basically, his overall conclusion is you really need to stop sleeping with people immediately. If you're rich and you got a lot to lose, and fame can be used against you. Now, obviously, if you're not famous, but you got money, that's a different game. Because a lot of things you're not really open to as hard, because you're not open to scandalization like that. If you just got paper, but you in the cut. But then again, he talks about setups. He talks about a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of stuff I've said, he kind of says it in a better, like, you know, I said it's always the backdrop of, you know, I do the outrage thing. Like, this is the shock and awe. But when it comes to, okay, let me explain to you why these things are being said, why these things are important, without minus the quote unquote red pill raised little seasoning I put on it, he does a very good job doing that. And a lot of things I've already said. And I know he's not taking it from me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, great minds think alike, and that's and he does it in a way that he's in the field. So you can kind of tell the people that they're speaking directly from direct recent experience. So I wanted to really kind of put that out there. So definitely check that out. You know, shout out to Compassionate Call Outs. And like I said, you know, y'all know I've been promoting Marty stuff. Like I said before, when it comes to Marty stuff is not just photos. It's not even mainly photos at this point. It's really his podcast and his videos on basically his story and his lore, as the Z's like to call it. Is what's going on in Brazil. So if you want to catch that from one of the last people still in Brazil, I guess we're gonna start calling Marty the last one standing. You know, go get it. He's got many, you know, audios and podcasts. So even if y'all just dropped the $20, even if y'all just dropped the $20 for 1 month, y'all got a whole bunch of content. So y'all going on a drive, y'all doing that, do yourself a favor and get it from somebody that's on the ground. It's like a micro reality show. Also, Marty done good with the AI and stuff, so definitely check that out. So yeah, so that's kind of on the promotional stuff. So jumping on Shedeur Sanders. And yeah, man, I'm telling you, subscribe to that dude. Subscribe to that dumper dude. Dude does a good job with how he puts his content together. And, you know, it's good content. You know, support him. You know, get him up there. Because he definitely puts time in how he does his videos. So y'all can reward that with subscription. And like I said, I don't be pushing on y'all bad content or content y'all don't like. He kind of strikes me as like Phantom Clutch or PK did you know, had a channel what it would sound like as far as the type of stuff that's going on. So definitely check that out. The stream, like, I've shared him in my community tab, so just go to post. It's called The Dumper. If you type in The Dumper and then 304, it should pop up. His channel is not relatively big, so definitely, you know, get him up there, get you know, get in his comment section, get his engagement. His stuff is worth all that just on its own, but you know, when there's good stuff in here. All right, so with that being said, let's we did the news. Notice how when I do my commercials, it's for everything but my shit. But anyway, we've done the news. So anyway, Shedeur Sanders has been drafted. He's been drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, which that is crazy, to be honest with you, because I mean, he was drafted in the 5th round, and I see Fantastic is live. Everybody is talking about a message is being sent. Why would the NFL need to send a message to one draft prospect? Like, you got so many people that are politicking, and people need to be called out on that. And, you know, Cameron needs to be called out on that. People need to be called out on that when y'all just politicking. Like, people have to start to really recognize the whys behind people are saying what they're saying, and really get gamed up. So Shedeur Sanders has been drafted. He's been drafted, I don't forget what pick, but it was in the 5th round. That's crazy. Dude didn't, you gotta understand, Shedeur Sanders didn't even do anything to be dropped down that far. And yes, the #1 overall pick was a black person. Everybody's using that in order to try to say it's not about race. Fuck y'all. Yes, it's about, now I will say this, a dude letting my comment section saying it's more about Deion and race, granted. So I'm not really saying fuck you, I get that. But as far as like people that's just saying that, I really get tired of y'all politicking with white people. I'm not here to say everything is about race, but a lot I get that economically it don't benefit y'all to call white people out. I understand that, but because I don't believe in mind control, and it's not about calling white people out per se. This is really particularly the NFL. But it's other factors. It's NFL, it's the college system, it's people's issues with Deion Sanders. I want to be very clear, and I'm showing my face when I say this so you understand this. I don't give a flying fuck about how you feel about an arrogant black man. Understand that when you say arrogant black man, that is a racist, vicious, racist attack. I want to be very clear. Why am I saying that? Give me an example of any other race. What I would ask a person on the spot that said that, cool. Give me an example of somebody else that's arrogant that gets this same kind of heat. Black, white, or otherwise. You got some time. Don't fucking say people that white, like Tom Brady, that's #1, Tom Brady is not arrogant. That's not the same. I'm talking about people that, I mean, I ain't talking about where, you know, he's got fans. I'm talking about people that, like, that would warrant something like this without him really doing anything wrong. Give me another example of that. That's all you got to do. To shut me up is all you have to do. Don't got to be another white person. A white person, it could be any other race. Give me an example. That's all you got to do. I'm putting you on the spot. You got time. I can wait. I got my vitamin water. Give me another example. And if I'm looking at you straight up, you can't look at ChatGPT. You can't look at your phone. Can you call up another example without researching it? Because if it's really that this kid is so fucking arrogant that a whole league had to do what? A whole league had to send a message. Even Stephen, come on, man. Even Stephen A. Smith, and you know Stephen A. Smith ain't gonna say something if he ain't got permission from his people to say it, or if he think it'll get in trouble. Even Stephen A. because you know Stephen A. Smith don't play the race card. You know he don't do that. And this is Stephen A. Smith today. This is today's Stephen A. Smith. Where Stephen A. Smith trying to get that money for real. Even Stephen A. Smith said, this got the NFL looking like they collude. They colluding like a motherfucker. There's no way 32 teams didn't select somebody in the first round. So if the NFL sent them a message, that's called collusion, sir. The NFL, the NFL doesn't have a right to lower somebody's draft to send a message. They're not supposed to be able to do that. That's against players. That's a lot of stuff going on with that. So the fact that this was like blatant like that, and that's really what Stephen A. Smith was speaking on. We're not talking first round, second round. We're talking about fifth round. And they can do what they want, but there can be a response to that too. People want to say Colin Kaepernick. Shedeur Sanders ain't done nothing like that even warrant that type of treatment. This dude is being literally low-key pre-blackballed for something he didn't do. For really, if you really think about it, he's being blackballed for media coverage, for how people are perceiving media coverage. This makes sense to what they did before. They were covering Shedeur Sanders when Travis Hunter had all that going on. I am absolutely happy Travis Sanders went too. But they were covering that the whole time before. Like, and Shedeur Sanders wasn't even doing nothing. The media went out of their way to give him bad coverage in order to tee this up. That is collusion. That is the definition of racism. A system. And I am just saying, give me an example of somebody else that's not black. Maybe I'm playing the race card too quick. You can't. You know why? Because it's racism. Racism is see, the problem that people have is they think racism is violent. If racism isn't a violent act, like a direct cop shoots person or something like that, racism is systematic. This is exactly what we're talking about. Institutional systems. And then when you add in the fact that you got fools. Look, man, I like Cameron. I'm happy Cameron got his money. But Cameron, this is what I would say. Straight up, there's a time where you can just shut the fuck up and not say something. You niggas love to talk about no snitching. Well, snitching is a form of being on code. Okay. Well, this is kind of a form. It may not be no snitching, but it is called shut the fuck up. Say it's called, I need to kind of look into it a little bit more because it sounds like it may be some funny stuff going. I may have some opinions about it that people aren't going to like, and if I do, fuck you. But I want to look into it more. That way you ain't got to speak on it because it's like it looks weird, but I don't know. But no, you go out of your way to say it ain't about race. Dude, I understand they gave you some money. I understand that you a real appreciative Negro. I understand that. But there's a time to shut the fuck up. And I don't know why you niggas... See, they always find the time to go out of their way to say something ain't about race. And even if you think that, cool. Why don't you let stuff play out a little bit more before you jump out there and just say that shit? Because, saying it ain't about race, yeah, niggas will get mad at you, but then white people won't, right? And this is what I mean when I say, don't be cheap. Black men have to stop letting it be cheap to fuck with us. And that's our problem. And until black men learn to work together better and create systems that can check certain stuff or at least push back against certain stuff, then we're gonna have this problem. But I do believe, obviously this is my opinion. I'm a nigga on YouTube. So what do I know, right? But I definitely do believe that there's some collusive stuff going on. I believe this goes into like college. I do think it's about Deion. I do believe it is more about Deion than it is about race. But I do believe it's a combination of things. It's this issue with these quarterbacks that they cannot stem the flow of. And I do believe they are afraid. You are starting to see more and more quarterbacks that are starting coming up like the white way, the white way, not these poor. Their talent is all they got, but they don't got all the other pieces because they ain't got parents and family behind them. And we're not talking about just a single mother home. It is very obvious they don't like black men. And that is something black men are going to have to deal with head on. And they don't, like, even with the LeVar situation. What did they say? LeVar kind of played into it for marketing purposes. But it's all like, I want to be clear. Any non-black person that says a black man is arrogant, you are racist to me until proven otherwise. It is a code word. Apparently, black men are the only men that can be arrogant. Now, we got plenty of examples of tennis players and a lot of people that they literally made their name off of doing crazy stuff as white dudes. But it's never hit with that kind of, he's arrogant, so his character is flawed. And they use that. They use a black man, and Shedeur ain't even arrogant like that. They use confidence for arrogance. And I say this, and like, y'all you want to talk about some short man's fucking syndrome. You want to talk about some short man syndrome. Shedeur Sanders is not arrogant. I knew plenty of dudes that were the popular guys in school that you could tag with that. And I'm thinking about some people in my personal life that you could tag with that were not arrogant. I'm talking about people from different personality types, some hood, some not. That you could try to, if white people want to try to just dump the media on them, yeah, they could try to tag them with that. And I'm talking about tall dudes that women like them, but they weren't arrogant like that. And I say this is a short dude, like, that's not arrogant. And I know dudes, ironically, dudes on the shorter side that were arrogant. I got a couple of people in my mind now when I think about that. And this is just this tag, and it really needs to be, it's racist. The English language has many words that can use similar definitions. I don't care. I'm not even fucking sugarcoating it. You're a racist piece of shit. Any of y'all that say that. And any of y'all that tries to play this arrogant card on the flip side and give white people cover for that, you a bitch. Like, straight up. And I'm just gonna say that. I just want to put it down and be clear. That it's funny. I talked to, a young, a quote unquote young man, as I'm 38 years old. I'm 5'5". This dude played basketball. I was in Charlotte the other day, and I was at the mall in Charlotte, and he's a big dude. He was like 6'2", bigger than me, and he's 17 years old. And I'm talking to him, he's a young person, so he doesn't have he's smart, but he don't have that kind of, he's a 17-year-old. He was a 17-year-old, and we had a great conversation. And it really hit me. If y'all want to know where this kind of energy is coming from, that I'm looking at this dude, and I'm looking at him like a 17-year-old, even though this dude is very much bigger than me. He played basketball. He looked like he could play football. He looked like a tight end, but he played basketball too. So one of the power forwards, center type build, but he looked like he could be a tight end. You know them dudes that they look like they can move, they move in slow motion, one of them types. But it really hit me how other people, and I didn't say this to him, but other people, I did say some things about some situations though, but other people would perceive him like me. It ain't nothing but a thing. But like, if I'm not black and I'm 5'7", 5'8", all this energy stuff is gonna be going through a lot of these motherfuckers' heads, and they project that. That's what's going on with Shedeur. It's amplified with that, where they look at him through the perception of, now, like, first of all, I don't know why you motherfuckers don't even like Deion. Deion has made you, what the fuck? Like, I done passed 3 fucking lights. This dead. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this thing. East Raleigh, man, the hood. I swear to God. Anyway, this is how you know I'm on the fucking side. Anyway, so like, Deion has made y'all money. Deion basically does the Floyd Mayweather shit and make y'all money. Like, I don't know where all this, nobody's never really explained where this anger coming from. Like, it's like, for real, it's like, like, it's his job to make y'all like him. Like, it's his job for him to play the shucking jive, yes, your boss, I'm just happy to be here, I'm happy to be humble, I do that with y'all because I am humble by y'all giving me money for me talking this shit. Like, that is genuine, because I sell shit. So for y'all to see what I say is valuable enough to donate, shout out to Nate and Gay, dropped that $50. Russo and Landon both gave $5 the other day. I am. That's not just some stuff I say. For real. But, like, everybody don't gotta do that. His skill, you're gonna make money off his skill. Let's be very clear here. I don't really want him to be on the Browns like that. But and look, man, Deshaun Watson, get your money, but you fuck Cleveland. Cleveland has a right to be mad at you. You robbed them. You robbed an NFL team that, quite frankly, did not have the money to give like that. You fucked them. You like, I'm not even gonna fuck you being hurt. Fuck all this bullshit. I get that, but from their perspective, I would hate your ass. If I was a Cleveland fan, I would hate your ass because you basically stole money from them legally, and I can understand that. So, is there a team that deserves a break and they deserve to get their picks and then get something like a Shedeur to kind of fall in their lap? And I got family in Ohio, and they've never said anything, but Jesus, yeah, Cleveland does. Now, are they going to fuck it up? Probably. Is Shedeur probably going to get out of there? Probably. Because Cleveland ain't really got the money to give. Not like they did Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson made his money, happy for him, but we gotta tell the truth. And the truth is he legally robbed their ass. And that's just the truth. And I'm glad Deshaun got his money. I hope he saves it. I hope he invests it wisely. Shout out to his girlfriend that stuck with him, the Jilly, like she just stuck with him through all that bullshit. When she got with him when that shit started, you know, but that yeah, in the NFL they ain't got it like that, and Cleveland damn sure didn't have it like that. So is there a team that deserves to kind of get this? I would have rather saw him in Vegas. I'm not even gonna front, but yeah. But does he really want to make that commitment? Do they really want to make that commitment? But I will say this. He definitely has an opportunity. We'll see. Yeah. And so this arrogant tag, just understand, and I've called white men this to their face. I said, yeah, that's a racist statement. Yes, it is. And what I'm telling you, I have told them this. And they can never call up another person. They can't. And when you do that, they'll get angry. And you can do this on social media. Just ask them, can you tell me another race of somebody that's like this? And they'll get stupid. I'm going to start calling that area, that's the Floyd Mayweather tag. Floyd Mayweather damn near made almost like $800 million off that. That's just to show you how much white people are willing to move on that. It's that birth of a nation bullshit. That Jack Johnson bullshit. Shedeur don't even be walking around with women like that. Shedeur is low key, to be honest with you. He ain't as up there as like Deion was. And y'all, cause y'all can't stand that Deion was able to move his way. You hate black male excellence and success. And that's what y'all hate about Deion Sanders. That's what y'all hate. He can become a coach. This dumb player, yeah, he's talented. He's a talented, what do they call the skill player, whatever. But can he have a brain? No. Deion to prove that's all wrong. He did at the I mean, truth be told, it's a lot of black folks that have an issue with Deion Sanders for that same reason. I am absolutely disappointed in Kevin Crosby. I'm absolutely disappointed in the black college apparatus for how they treated him. Y'all all can go to hell, and y'all need to go reflect. Y'all claim to be Christians, but y'all got that bougie about you. And that's absolutely true. So it ain't just him. It is something about black male excellence that this country hates. Y'all turn into like Sidious. Y'all turn into Omni-Man. Remember when Omni-Man used to look at his son when his son was catching the ball, and Omni-Man used to have that look, that anger look that would allude to you what he was really about? That's what y'all, it's like, it be for no reason. It be for no reason, yo. Like, I just can't stand. I'm like, yo, and I say this as a short dude. So the type of person that people try to project all that bullshit on. It's amazing seeing some folks like you're white here, but you still, and it ain't just, it's like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Just this. And he ain't even done shit for y'all to be mad like that. And that's another thing that got people real. Like, this is like Kevin Samuels. Hey, I saw a lot of that with Kevin Samuels. Niggas just be having these demons in them. They be trying to get out. You know, it be like, yo, like, and niggas, it's like a muscle. Fuck this nigga, I can't stand it, nigga, Kevin gay. It's like, yo, y'all are way too grown for that. And y'all talking about, like, y'all sent the message, the NFL looks bad. Really? I'm gonna keep it real, man. Like I would really, if I was in the players, I would really be watching Shedeur Sanders hard, because if somebody hits him, anything that they do, I would really be on that shit. Like was this like a bounty program situation? Because it's a lot of energy going on, like, as people would say, demonic energy around nothing. Because can't nobody sit here and really explain to me what the real issue is. So they use these ambiguous terms like, well, he's just arrogant. He's just not humble. A lot of motherfuckers ain't humble. Y'all don't have an issue with Zion because Zion's a crash out. Y'all don't have an issue with black men that are ruining their lives. But y'all don't want no Eli Manning Payne. Y'all don't want no Eli Payne situation. From the black perspective, oh hell the motherfucker no. And yeah, you got parents and kids, you got that in NBA, and that has been in NFL. But people that have the money and marketing, the advertiser side kind of down pat like Dion does, Dion has a natural talent for how to generate money and the skills to go along with it. That's what y'all typically don't see. Y'all typically, and that's what y'all are afraid of. And there's no woman y'all could go to try to undercut that. And you all are obviously afraid. Let me go ahead and might as well get gas. You all are obviously afraid. You all obviously cannot handle it. You obviously can't handle it. And it's obvious. The media, y'all don't even do a good job hiding it. And to me, it's funny to see, but I'm not going to sugarcoat what that is. That is racism. That is what that is. And a lot of y'all don't know what racism is. There's one thing to feel a certain type of way, but the ability to actually affect an outcome as a group. And if it's not that, then please point to me another situation. Because of Johnny Manziel, it's Johnny Football. All he does is win games. He's just so great. He's just so great. Oh my God. The white version of Shedeur Sanders is not getting this. The white version of Shedeur, like for real. Oh my God. Yo, somebody tell me, did Tim Tebow get drafted? Hold on one second, I'm about to ask. Tim Tebow was selected the first round. The first in the 2010 draft, he was selected the first round in the 25th pick. I want y'all to marinate on that for a second. All right. I just want y'all to really understand that. Like you can almost do a meme of like people that have gotten you can almost do a meme of people that have gotten selected past him, man. You can almost do that if you wanted to do that. That's how crazy that was. And so, you know, I just wanted to comment on the Shedeur Sanders situation, put that out there, and kind of put my points in. So, and I'm not just saying just to drag, it's not so much just a quick and dry, oh, it's right to the end, but you got to understand these feelings and how these feelings translate into, like an actual effective outcome. They can affect money. Because that's what people, you know, be conveniently forgetting. They like to create this ambiguity because people don't want to speak on it because it's inconvenient with people's money and shit to speak on this. Let's just call that what it is, and that's fine. But I'm not saying everybody got to, you know, fall on the sword with it, but sometimes you need to shut the fuck up. This thing where people go out of their way to say it's not about, you know, not this chorus of black people. It's not about race, like or a lot of these black conservatives. they basically make money off foam in the mouth races, basically saying any basically as far as they're concerned, it's a lick. Some of them really be believing that. But they notice how they never go into real detail to explain, you know, Shedeur Sanders is arrogant. What do you like? Is this that's a catch-all, be-all tag? That really is. You want to talk about black woman and angry, like for real? Like really give me some real examples of some arrogance, and y'all just play some clips and be like, "Go, that is a racial. Just say they're arrogant." Yeah, it is. It's uppity. Uppity is a great word. That's another way. That's really the new that you was absolutely right. When you say uppity, when you say not red pill, when you say arrogant, that's uppity. In fact, I'll probably title this video an arrogant, but that is uppity. That is what that is, and that needs to be called out. You need to start putting these people on the back foot and start letting them know we see you. Tebow, it doesn't. I don't care about him being a college football fucking legend. Look at what his career ended up being. And they kind of knew Tebow wasn't going to translate into the NFL. Even Denver got tired of him. So at the end of the day, there's a reason he got drafted where he got drafted in the first round. There's a reason for that. As a quarterback. Exactly. Eli did say that. Did they call him arrogant? No. Like, that's the thing. We have this established evidence on stuff. That's where people be fucking up. Is white people do shit and then they forget we can just play what y'all did. And was it perceived the same way? And it is so beyond the pale. They literally have two completely different reactions, and the only thing you change is race. That's it. That's it. So what is it? Like, my thing is, if it ain't that, granted, what is it? Give me another example. They can't, because it's not. That's how I check and balance my bullshit. Does this work here? Yay or nay? It's not complicated. It's not complicated. And so, you know, Shedeur will be all right, but it's this kind of, they just don't like it, and they don't want to explain it because they know what they really feel. I'd rather y'all be like Richard Spencer, just say what the fuck y'all really feel and stop being bitches about it. Because y'all don't really, it's the same thing with Carmelo Anthony, even though that's like the same energy for Shedeur is the same energy for Carmelo Anthony. Granted, they got a depth they can talk about, but it's the same anger. It's anger. Shedeur ain't killed nobody. Where is this anger coming from? Well, it's Deion. A lot of y'all don't even know Deion like that. Y'all act like Deion has just been in the public for a long period of time. And it's glee. Like, you see the glee on him. Like, let me give you an example. Cooper Flag. I don't be like, oh, this is a white boy. Oh my God. I'm like, no, good for them. Good for them. I hope he goes number one. And number one, I'm a Duke fan. But number two, I'm glad they get one every once in a while. Good for them. I wish he would have won the championship. For real, for real. Good for them. But this glare is a bitch, man. Y'all have no idea what I'm looking at. It's like I'm fucking sun gazing. I hate this shit. Right after a rain. Good for them. And I mean that. I hope he does well, because the NBA kind of needs a little bit of shake-up. And he's very young. You know they about to be blowing him the fuck up. It's Cooper Flag! The name and, it's Cooper Flag! Ah! You know, you already know. You already know. Good for him. Good for them. And I mean that. Because it'll shake these Negroes up a little bit. But with them, oh my God. You know, you showed them a black boy with a father? Oh, hell no. We should tell black women some shit. Give black women a clue. You show them a black man with a father? Oh, hell no. Even with LeVar Ball. Show them a black man with a father? Oh, they act like they done lost their mind. They really, like, I don't know where the fear comes in. Yeah, I do need to stop dealing with these cheap shades and get some expensive ones. Because honestly, like, there are times where, that's one thing about them, like, $100 glasses. You know, white boys, they just get the cheap white boy glasses. I'm not getting those. But I do need the good one that actually kills the sun vibe, so I can deal with that. Yeah, that's really what it is. They want him. There's a reason they like you know, like, they want him to be like, look, man, shout out to Travis Hunter, but they want to be like Travis Hunter. They want him to play the Cinderella narrative. But Travis Hunter come from that background where he got to play that single mother, you know, he's being regulated by his mom or some random bitch that's his girlfriend that he met 5 years ago. They like that. But dude, you think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? You think I'm lying? You want to know somebody that's mad talented but not arrogant, but he don't take no shit and they hate it? Kyrie Irving. And look at how they went at Kyrie Irving. They tried to make Kyrie Irving look like he was uncooperative because he didn't want to be in LeBron's shadow. As soon as they tried to blow him up over a retweet over a book, Amazon said they wasn't pulling off the shelves. Ain't nobody had nothing to say to Jeff Bezos about that. They literally tricked that owner into blowing, like, and it's funny because that was an Asian owner. You let them white folks trick you into blowing your whole team up. Because they thought, because you wanted to be like the white boys. They literally, like Asians need to study that. How Asian rich people, how these white folks literally tricked you into blowing your team up. Because you wanted to practice That's not even smart from an Asian supremacy standpoint. You wanted to practice white supremacy and you blew up your entire investment in the Brooklyn Nets when you had a team that could win. You should have learned from Mark Cuban. Instead, you listened to them and they tricked you. It's the same, because that happened before the school thing. It's funny how they'll use these agents and just trick them, and they keep on falling. I'm talking about the men too. Y'all just keep on falling for this shit. Y'all get upset at your women dating white men, but y'all do basically Asian girl shit. Y'all don't have your own relationship with the blacks. Y'all basically try to be like them. And truth be told, they don't be wilding out like that openly. And they got you thinking you can do what they be trying to do, and you didn't think that all of them wouldn't just leave your ass. Look with your dick in your hand, looking stupid. Because you didn't understand the power dynamics in the NBA. Because you thinking they was going to take care of you. Shit. That's crazy when you really think about it. Shout out to Thibodeau and the Knicks being decent. That's crazy. So anyway, that's what they call Kyrie arrogant. And Kyrie is quiet as hell, man. But again, what is Kyrie? He was raised by his father. That's the common denominator. And that's the black America hates black fathers. When are we going to have that conversation? And I argue that includes black women too. America hates black fathers. When are we going to have that conversation? Make sure y'all support the Cash App. Yeah, I still need to see Sinners. I'm going to see Sinners. Shout out to Landon, the Fuck With Your Tax, the FWT. I love that, man. Shout out to Landon. Let's just call that out. And my channel's small enough that I can talk that shit. Let's call it out. No, it ain't a bill. Yes, it is. This is actually the systematic of how that shit works. We got somebody that you can't say doesn't have the skill. He was one of the best people in the draft. Yeah, they drafted a couple of things. Yeah, I mean, it ain't just about that, but it's what that represents. And cool. That's cool. Because Shedeur got another chip that'll storyline. And say what you want to about Cleveland, people are going to be watching Cleveland a lot more than they otherwise would. People going to watch Cleveland more than they otherwise would, even if Deshaun Watson is on fucking notice. And Cleveland was able to do that without giving up a lot of their pieces because of when they drafted him. Because we already know Shedeur Sanders got the skill to do the job. That's not even like a question. So I ain't even worried about where he got drafted. Because it ain't like Shedeur needs that initial check anyway to secure his stuff. So that ain't even the issue. Because truth be told, let's be real, they're going to get money off the marketing and stuff too. And Dion is not LeVar. Dion is, and look, shout out to LeVar. Hopefully, he had to have his leg amputated or his foot. So, blessings with him. But he ain't LeVar. He is way more, Dion has done this, been there, done this. So that's a very different thing and a different scale of what's going on here. Dion is trying to be like, Dion wants Shedeur to be like a Richard Hamilton. He's thinking global. That's what Dion is thinking. Dion, I wouldn't be surprised if, I show speed type shit. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I see you. It's that, that white insecurity. I see you. Shout out to Xanatos Clutch. Those are the same people who let white men turn out their women. I'm not surprised. Yeah. Appreciate Naga Boko for the $25. Much appreciated. So let's talk Shannon Sharpe. I've talked about Shannon Sharpe before. You know, I watched some good, commentary. So we're gonna talk about it again. One thing that Mace said it was really good was Mace said how it could be the new pimps or managers of these OnlyFans chicks. This is what they low-key accused. I'm adding this part into it. This is what they low-key accused Andrew Tate of doing. This is what they've been dragging him in and out of jail for doing. Basically, low-key being a manager of women when it comes to like these cam sites. Cam Soda Chatterbait, these cam sites, where he would provide the real estate for them to do what they're doing, even though that's perfectly legal. So they make up some shit like he wouldn't let them leave for 1 second or something, and then they use that to do all this political persecution on them, which is exactly what it is, political persecution. And this is why they keep dragging him into jail. So just to give y'all an example, if these manager things do exist, because a lot of these women don't be doing their own stuff. When it comes to the marketing and all of that, digital pimping, what people are saying, this is a theory, this is not based on, just consider this fan fiction until proven otherwise, is that it could be that it's another hand in the pot other than Tony Buzbee. And, this goes back to the video that Dumper was talking about, which is why I'm kind of tying it together. And how a lot of y'all, like, one thing that I liked about the video he did, even though he went way deeper into it than what I'm talking about, is a lot of dudes don't really understand the deep hatred that a lot of women have towards the men for selling their bodies. A lot of dudes, especially in America, where women really think they shouldn't have to do that. It's a little bit different, I think, overseas, although you got to worry about that too. That if you're a guy and you're like not, especially if you're not white, you cannot do what white people do. This kind of thing, white men can be ugly, nasty, filthy, and then they're white. You can't run that play. There's a certain level of hatred, especially in America. This is one reason why tricking in America is kind of dangerous. These women have an arrogance about them in the United States that's really on another level. They actually, think about it, they believe that if you pay for a ticket and fly them out, that they can play games. In other countries, if you do that shit, you might not go back to where you came from. There are certain things that are in that environment that you can't pull here, that if you pull that there's going to be a real consequence. There's a potential for a real consequence to that. And so that's just an example, but you got this, like, remember he mentioned when Cardi B admitted to drugging people, and then everybody just acted like she never said that, which again only can happen because you don't have black male organizations that can railgun that shit and make that shit known. So it's known that everybody that supports Cardi B, it's known. So she would at least have to say more other than standing 10 toes down. She'd at least have to give a fake apology. The fact that, she thinks that the men deserve to be drugged because they're buying her, renting her body. And at the end of the day, you aren't being trafficked. This is what you were doing. Nobody told you to be a stripper. Nobody told you to get extra money by body like that. You did that. You did that. You was a rogue hoe. And you did that on your own, and then you're mad at the people that did that because they're doing something to you. No, they're not. But see, the women are allowed to have this. And a lot of dudes underestimate that because a lot of you niggas have this thing where y'all want to save a bitch. And y'all, this is why they say don't save me, I want to be saved. They don't. And you can be on the receiving end of that bullshit. Like, for real. And a lot of y'all are goofy anyway. It's not like y'all are really seasoned and tricking. A lot of y'all, like, for real. And I'm not even here to defend Trigger and nothing like that, but I'm saying these are things that folks didn't consider, because I don't think people really consider, like, the internal issues that a lot of these women have, not to mention what it takes to break the mental barrier. Shout out to Dumper. Make sure y'all check that out for more details on that. Yeah, and a lot of men, like a lot of dudes, like here's the thing, people. I want to be get black men in a situation where this is not, we're going in the right direction, even though this won't necessarily be the like the end goal. But I want to get us to a position where you don't want black men to have a grudge against you. You don't want that. I said this on our podcast, and I'm saying this here. I think one of the mistakes that black men made is that Omarosa would have made an excellent attack vector. Oh yeah. I know y'all like, here go the white girl. Here go the white girl with the black girl with the white boy. She's probably not ADOS. These motherfuckers in their formals and shit. But Omarosa, we should have gave Omarosa some money. Omarosa would have made an excellent, what's the chick from Scandal? Olivia Cooper, whatever her name is, Olivia something. She would have made a great attack. Like being like, all right, we got the lawyers. She's gonna be the media person. You know, the media people gonna have her because it's always a good show. Because Omarosa is confrontational. Yeah, because the thing with Omarosa is Omarosa doesn't have a lot of things against black men. She hasn't really said bad stuff. She's dated by people just get mad at her for association. Omarosa, and Omarosa can deal with black women. Omarosa is a black woman's kryptonite, and if you pay her, the only person she probably wouldn't have went after was Trump, which I'm not saying we would have needed it, but she, like, you know, politically, you know, Trump could have sent her out there talking to black men, and she'd be like it could have worked, and it really could have worked where she could have had her own thing, where she could have made good money. And black people, wealthy black people, really set her up to be like, yeah, man, she's one of ours. She's one of ours. She is one of, like, and really, like, if you want to play games, you gonna have to deal with her, man. And she don't give a fuck with black women. Omarosa is not a part of the gynocracy. Omarosa is like, she's a Mandalorian. She's like you pay her. And we could have paid her. It wasn't like nobody else was going to pay her for that. Like the collectivity of black men, as far as the black, could have paid her to where she, in these celebrity situations, you got to deal with her. Now, she ain't going to go after everybody. You can't really count on her to go after like a Gloria Allred, but you can definitely count on her to give a counter narrative. You can definitely count on her to deal with any black female and these other bitches that be on that bullshit. And she'll cut these motherfuckers down. That's the type of thought processes we gotta have. We gotta have certain, and I'm just saying as a black woman, there's others that I'm thinking of, but I'm gonna leave it there. But we gotta have situations where you gotta worry. I'm gonna keep it real. Black men, this is gonna sound kind of crazy. But Tasha K has demonstrated that Tasha K can be an asset. And at the right time, they gonna go after certain black men, but you keep her more on the Ace Metaphors and Derrick Jacksons as a Tasha K ain't never went after somebody like this, a black male that's been like, oh, I can't believe, fuck her, I can't believe, like, for real. I ain't saying you should put money, but I ain't saying she would be like Omarosa, but like on social media, this is how black men have to think. But black men have this individual streak, and I'm just mentioning black women. Obviously, black women would not be the only people, but the reason why I'm saying that is because they can get away with shit that if we do it, they can go places we can't, especially when it comes to other women. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't know why women don't have a niche in female security. because females can jack up other women in a way men can't. So if you got like a butch or dyke or whatever, a chick that, and she's built, she can, the Sharkeishas, it pays to have some Sharkeishas on the payroll. Because they can jack a female, because they can do things men cannot do when it comes to regulating women, especially as chaotic these women are. And I keep paying them female bonus pay. Why? Because why would you hazard pay? Because they can deal with women in a way men cannot. They can deal with women a lot quicker than men can. Because men are going to get in trouble for being too rough versus a woman can be just as rough and it's not going to be perceived that same way. And so this is how you have to think. You have to think about women that don't really care, because even Tasha K don't really care about the sisterhood like that. She'll go against it. You have to demonstrate people that will do that. And I'm not saying they're just going to do our bidding, but you have to make it worth people's while to do that. Even with Umar, the reality is Umar would probably rather talk about black boys and kiss black women's asses all day, every day. But you're going to have to pay him. I'm not saying we got to overpay him, but we need to look at, okay, what does it really cost for Umar to have something that wasn't acceptable? So this is like a floor. You got to do that, and we got the money. I'm not talking about y'all donating online. I'm talking about like people with, like these NBA player, people with big money that can put money in these some of these organizations built, funded by black men, and disseminate this tax-free money. For real. Dead ass serious. You want a job jacking these hoes up? You will be paid, and you will be paid well. I'm sorry. Look, man, obviously, shout out to Charles, his security firm. But anybody with a security firm, in my opinion, you should have some black women employed. They specialize in female management and regulations. They are my female management and regulation specialists. Shout out to Naga Boko for the $25 Cash App. I think somebody else gave me a Cash App, but it wasn't showing, so give me a second. For real. Like I'm just showing you the women just so, because people act like I can't think outside of that, you know. So I'm just showing you, like, for real. This is how, like, the fact that you don't have these, or they have to be, and the thing with our organizations is our organizations have to come out of the woodwork, meaning people can't see us coming, because otherwise they're going to try to dismantle it. People, like, I'm not saying you can deal with the biggest of the biggest dogs, but a lot of these little dogs or medium level bosses or mini bosses that be fucking with us, they gotta be able to think twice about that shit. Same thing with the Shedeur Sanders situation. You should have black media that's basically, and shout out to that All Hip Hop Live, I've shared him. You gotta have people that do a good job. And like I said, good job. You know, check it. Like, that dude got 235,000 subscribers. People are supporting him with subscriptions and viewership. Shout out to Snowman. It ain't all about money. Shout out to Evil Genius. And I'm gonna keep it real. We gotta start investing in certain documentaries. Like, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, it should be a whole documentary series. Even if it's like a mini documentary on YouTube. We got to have our own apparatus. I've told y'all before, and I'm going to tell you again. Where do most black men go to? Either they know somebody they go to, or they go to barbershops that are black owned, that are vertically integrated from the black customer to the black owner. Barbershops. Barbershops. Did I say barbershops? There's 30,000 barbershops in the United States, roughly. Those are officially registered barbershops. That is literally a situation where it's black men there, black advertisers. Shout out to Bev. black situations, a black customer. What it would take to put a Chrome key in every barbershop, put an app that you can get in the Play Store, just like the Blackmail, the news network, a video network, and they just play videos like you see the advertisements for the DMV. And then if you control an app like that, you can control that. You can break that app down based on region. You can break it down based on cells. So you can cells based on region. When I say cell, CELLS, based on grids, based on regions, based on where those barbershops are. And you can literally control the advertisement, so you can do different advertisements. That's what they be doing on these apps on the low. You can literally, it's not hard to develop something like that, to where you say, okay, I'm gonna put this here, here, and here. So a company like Bevel, you just put them on the whole grid. A company like, they make more local advertising, you can put 30,000 Chrome keys. How much is a Chrome key? Like, let's do the math right now. Chrome keys cost $20, $30. If you bought Chrome keys cost $20, $30. If you bought like an order for 15,000, 30,000, or you could legit probably get, it's only $29. You can get them their Chrome keys on their own. How much would it cost to either buy the Chrome? You got the Chrome key, the TV. They probably already have internet in there in the barbershop, so they already got Wi-Fi. And then you would literally pay. You would probably literally give an incentive, for some kind of incentive for every barbershop to adopt it. Maybe like they get in a directory or database. Maybe you pay them eventually. I don't know. But you give them an incentive. Chrome keys are $30,000. You could probably get them for like 18, 17 if you're buying them at bulk like that. And not $30,000, $30. So 10 of them. So if you can get them at half the cost, because it don't cost that much to do a Chrome key. 15 times 10 is 150 times 100 is 1,500 times 1,000 is 15,000. So 15,000 times 10 is 150,000. So that's 10,000 times 3. So 450,000. You got the Chrome keys and everything. Go. 450,000. Then TVs are as cheap as they ever have been. And there's a lot of TVs that people want to move and get rid of. TLC, all of that. Most of these barbershops have their own TV. So you just need the Chrome key and then development of the app. That don't even cost that much, because honestly, all you need is like a video. It's the platform, the actual infrastructure of what you're actually looking at is actually not expensive. For what you need to develop. You'd be surprised, especially with AI and coding. All you really need, the thing about the app wouldn't even be extremely sophisticated. The thing about the app is would be more on the back end. Would be the advertising platform of it, meaning you would basically look at top 100 cities where black people are, and then you would be able to grid that up. So when somebody were to, let's say you get on a quote-unquote client, some clients want to do more local advertising, or some clients want to do more national advertising. It could be an influencer. It's you capturing the black audience. It's not just that, and you would do that in a digital way. And there's other businesses too. You could expand that to all black, mainly black owned and black supported businesses. And that gives you access. That is an offline access to black men. Then you take that and use that as a base for online stuff. A base for online development of certain stuff, because you have that connection. That is what they fear black people to do. Because if you create that info stream, that's game fucking over. You saw the power. Exactly. I know Grizzly is like one of the main ones I would do. The app is not complicated. You just got to be able to grid on the back end. You just got to be able to grid that up to where you can control what area, and that's whatever code, not code, but whatever like the system you want to employ to do something like that. You can just control, okay, what nodes, what area, Houston, maybe you don't want to do the whole city. You take certain zones and you grid it up. You do it maybe by zip code. The best way to do it would be by zip code. That's probably the best way to do it, by zip code. And you just somehow incorporate that into the thing, into the map. And so you can basically say, okay, what zip codes do you want? This is how much these, and then you do a value for certain zip codes. And that way, and then you find a way to incorporate the business to where the business is getting money off of that somehow too. I don't know how you would do that. That's something, but there are ways to make it worthwhile. And you just got, and the reason why I'm using Chrome keys is because Chrome keys, you can do custom third-party apps. That's why I'm doing Chrome keys. You get something like that in the Play Store, you wouldn't even need to do a third-party app. And it's easier than it's ever been to get stuff in the Play Store. You do that as a social media network, and obviously to get dudes, you gotta get bitches on, but it would be mainly a male app, because this is what it's really designed for. And so, yeah, you would get women, you would push women on, but ultimately, this is what the real design is for. And people will say, well, what about the women money? Sure. You got the women money, and you might want to do that. That's where the money is. But that would be, but this would be the actual strategic asset. 30,000, and that's just barbershops. I'm not even talking about other black-owned, black customer, because it's not just black-owned businesses. It's the customers I'm talking about. It's not just black-owned businesses. It's the customer, the black customer, because the black customer is where the black advertisers. It's the black advertisers. So companies like Bevel, companies like a Robert Smith, having access, a direct access to black men is not very loud, because this also wouldn't be a loud thing. There's a lot of things you can grow out of that. A news network, a lot of that. And because this gives you access, and the reason why I say 30,000 is this is either black men, either black men know, obviously this is where black men congregate, black men know black men to go to these things. And this gives you access to black men directly. So it's the customer base. It is not just like making money and what that can grow out of. This is not the first time I've said something like this. I'm giving new details that I didn't give before based on where we're kind of at today, with technology. This is what I'm talking about. There are solutions. And when you look at the cost to do this, it is not that much. A lot of people have the money. I just told you, if you buy those Chrome keys in bulk, and quiet as it's kept, you probably could get like whatever. You don't need the Chrome key. But you can, and that's literally buying. That's if they don't buy it. It's just $29. But see, you have to incentivize that. So there are and you get that communication stream, the stuff that can grow out of that kind of petri dish, not only social media, but offline. Yeah, TCL. Walmart bought Vizio. Walmart bought Vizio end of last year. And we know these people already got TVs, and we know we know most of these barbershops got TVs, they got Wi-Fi, they got and they got TVs that are new enough that deals with the USB sticks. which means you can plug it in and work it. And maybe the Chrome keys aren't the best one. They're probably cheaper ones that can do what I'm talking about. The Amazon Fire Stick is complicated. The reason why I like the Chrome key, because there's other stuff you could use the Chrome key for, but if you leave it with this, man, please. So what I'm saying is there are solutions, man. There are like I just said, the Chrome key is like 450,000, and you could really cut that down because again, you could get them to buy it. You just have to incentivize them. Where is their incentive? Maybe they're in the network, so you find a way to incentivize them to generate business for their barber, whatever. So you do something like that. And this is where a Negro Manosphere blog or website, you can have these things that just like how these Hispanics have things that just serve them. You can have these things that serve just black men, and obviously black women will be incorporated in some way, but they wouldn't be controllers of anything. Not in that way. Not anything that matters. They wouldn't have ownership. They may have a job here or there, but they wouldn't have ownership because this is strategic infrastructure. And you wouldn't just do one. You would do a couple in case they F up one. And this will allow us to have internal conversations that are at scale. That really, quite frankly, is our own stuff digitally in plain sight. It's like a portal. And so, I mean, that's not even like a profound idea. This is just, if you're thinking infrastructure with a digital age, yeah. So what do y'all think about what I'm talking about? Because I'm about to end this. What's up, Encrypted Wolf? So when people be like, what's the solution? Oh, there's solutions. And at the point is, what? What's holding you back? Cost. Now, he said we got 600 niggas, tactical strike. For real. So when you look at a Jasmine brand or the Shade Room, this is what separates that. This is the infrastructure and stuff that can apply with that. This is what when I say localized stuff, this is what I'm talking about. Where you can actually railgun artificially people that are talented, people that are doing stuff. You can actually, you create your own social media feature. This is based on certain categories and stuff. You have a whole bunch of websites that they have their own category, but certain stuff you can network through and distribution. This is how black men really need to start thinking, and this is why, frankly, they fucked with Robert Smith, because they don't want black men thinking like that. Because if black men start thinking like that, then that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a fucking problem. They don't want black men, because if black men start actually looking at how much does it cost to buy up the block, how much does it cost to do this and do that, how much does it cost to really, what is the actual value of this? Shout out to Christian Hutchinson, because he ain't talking about what I'm talking about now, but he talks about a lot of stuff from a real estate point of view. He calls it real estate stock. People don't think that way. And this is why you have to do, some of this stuff has to be done behind the scenes. Some of this stuff has to be done quietly. Because if you're too loud about it, that's where this is. Okay. Damn. Okay. There'll be a response. because white people see this as warfare. Even though we're more doing this to get our own shit together, they wouldn't see it that way. And there's a lot of ideas. I just do talk ideas. I mean, you see what BGS talks about. You know the information. Like, imagine the information that we talked about. We was able to control stuff like that. It wouldn't matter what the social media stuff is. That wouldn't mean anything. In fact, I gotta make my way back home to do something, because it was something I wanted to do, and then I'll end this. But yeah. So there's a lot of ideas like that when it comes to infrastructure. But and again, a lot of this stuff requires a group effort. This is why when people buy stuff and they do stuff in shares, this is a way of partnership in corporations. There's a reason they don't teach that in school. Like, it is certain things that you have to do at scale. It's control of aggregation of resources. But people don't want to talk like that because, and some of this stuff is not stuff you openly talk about. You have to like deal with people on a case by case basis. He says South Saunders. Yeah, it is. And this is where you start to really realize Highlander syndrome and the problem. It's a hidden problem. Because individually you can't see it because you can't see it until you run into another group that's like that. Then you see it. Well, I mean, when they say where to start, I mean, number one, you start with what makes money. And then you have to understand the different values of certain stuff. Like for instance, you know, a lot of people, this is why a lot of black youth tend to just make money to make money. They're not making money to keep money. They're not really thinking about wealth creation. They're not really thinking about like what is going to grow well. And see, these conversations have to be had at a foundational level. They have to be had, like, you have to be socialized into thinking like this. Otherwise, it does become harder to see that it otherwise has to be. But like where I started was like the communication thing. We need that, and there's a way to make that profitable. So people are not thinking about these things with like strategic assets. They're thinking about this stuff, you know, in a very basic way. So there's a lot of ideas and stuff with that. I mean, you start with basically finding a couple of people you can do business with, that you can aggregate resources and skill with. That's where you start. So, yeah. So when people be thinking it ain't a big deal, it ain't a big deal because people don't know what they don't know. Like, for real. We're depending on social media networks to do what we can do for ourselves. And then we get mad when they're not promoting our favorite YouTuber. Like, quite frankly, there should be smaller social media sites that have existed for specific niches that give the news and all that stuff. The infrastructure to create that stuff is not as hard as it used to be. If anything, the issue is the servers. You know, the server space and all of that. I know Tariq Nasheed tried to do that years ago, but this is why I think doing an advertising network, even though it requires more upfront investment, is more strategic, because then something like that can grow out of an already base of advertising to get a baseline of stuff. And then it's really just a glorified website with a social component versus a social media network that has to stand on its own. And then you aggregate stuff like, that's how you do it. And then obviously, those sites fund themselves with advertising from strategic black companies. I mean, sure, you could put other stuff on it, big people on there too, but you want to look for companies like Bevel. You want to look for companies that's got money, that's black, because they're gonna and companies that not only that's black, but they mainly cater to a black male audience. And then what you do is you compartmentalize certain information. So certain things like sports is not really going to enter into the quote-unquote red pill territory as much. So you can control where these brands are seen, so they're not like being seen in front of some stuff that may be perceived as crazy. So anyway, just to let y'all know, there are solutions. People be like, what's the fucking solution? There are solutions to this. And yeah, but I'm gonna be out. So with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace. I may be on ABs. We'll have